That's night number 2 done here at the 2023 410 Knoxville Nationals here at Knoxville Raceway. What an exciting finish we had there with a bunch of restarts, a few wrecks and cautions and things like that. But it was Carson Macedo who got the job done in the end over Kyle Larson, who come from, I think, about 5th. And he just got by Spencer Bayston there, who did a fantastic job to end up 3rd. I think he came from 10th or something like that. So we're out on the racetrack off of turn 4 right now. You can see it's midnight right now, 12:01, and you can see that the track's already been ripped up. I don't think this time last night there was too much foot traffic, so they hadn't quite ripped it up yet. But let's show you down here off of turn 4. You think once the races are done that the whole thing's done, but no, this is a proper sprint car racing event, one of the only real events that we have here in sprint car racing. Let's get into the night. No trailers on the infield tonight because obviously there was no real threat of bad weather, so we saw logistically it's really difficult for teams to prepare for this weekend with open trailers and stuff. They don't have that with them all the time, so there's it's just another thing that they got to think about. But yeah, that was the standard Knoxville Nationals sort of setup there. A little bit hotter today, probably a lot hotter today actually. Very, very humid. Definitely at our merch store we were feeling it for the few hours we were out. Onto the racing, 53 cars timed in tonight. I think it was 52 last night. There was early draws for guys like Rico, Shane Stewart and Brad Sweet in that beautiful, beautiful Napa yellow car. To me, that's my favorite car. I love cars that, you know, are predominantly one color other than black or white or just plain. Yeah, and obviously that Napa logo just looks nice on the car there. I was pretty impressed. Hey, look who it is.
How we doing?
What are you doing?
Just having a good time.
If you don't know, it's Cody Morosky. What happened to your ride, man?
I decided I wasn't having fun, and we've worked our ass off for 3 months, and you got to have fun. So we got 3 days left, and we're going to enjoy ourselves.
You look like you're having fun now.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Have you had any?
Come over here.
Have you had any chicken yet?
Plenty, yep. Plenty. It's good.
All right, have a good night, man.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Cody walked away from his ride only a couple days ago, just before the Nationals. He said he wasn't having fun, so looks like there's plenty of people having fun here. When I asked him about the chicken, there's this big chicken cook-off or something going on here. It's packed. Look at it. Yeah. Wow, this is going to get hectic, guys. All right, I'm going to step away a little bit as we make our way through here. Hot laps, Group 1. Rico did a 15.3. He was around 1/10 quicker than last night. I really wanted to find out where the track was kind of headed in comparison to last night. As I said in yesterday's video, you can see that the track would open up for the second night, and that's the best thing about running on the second night, is that the track is a lot wider, and we can get some more passing for those guys that are deep in the heat races with that invert of 8. It slowed up, if anything, in hot laps. Macedo was Group 3 and only did a 15.6, so 3/10 slower than Rico. So you can see the track is slickening off. Just after hot laps, actually, just before time trial started, we caught up with Aussie Kerry Madsen, who ran 4th last night.
Nice run last night. You happy with the speed that you have?
Yeah, basically pretty good. Just hopefully we can get a little better for Saturday night. And you know, you're going to need to be perfect on Saturday.
Where do you feel like you need to improve?
Excellent question. You know, I don't really understand the new tyres good enough, but I think like we just need to balance our car a bit better. It's maybe a bit down, then it gets a bit tight, so get it to where it's a bit more neutral.
Yeah, just a quick word there with Kerry. He's pretty intense. As I said, qualifying was just about to start, so we got that quick chat in. He was pretty good, but I think he still obviously needs to find some more speed. We're actually out here at our merch tent. It looks a little plain right now, but we're all set up for the next couple of days. It's steadily getting busier and busier here under the main grandstand. We're not far from where the racing action happens at all. Man, I can't believe it's after midnight and there's that many people here. It's awesome. But let's get into qualifying again. Rico, Group 1, goes quickest with a 15.7. That's 4/10 slower, almost half a second slower from hot laps. Goes to show the track's going away. Others got close, but not as good. You know, you got your Schuharts and your Larsons and things like that. Actually, Larson, I don't think was even quickest out of between him and the guy he went out with, Baylog. So yeah, a little bit slower the track got. I think the pill draw decided about 2 or 3 tenths, probably closer to 3 tenths for qualifying. We did actually manage to catch up with Kyle Larson straight after qualifying and ask him about what he thought about his laps. But just before we get into that, here's a message from our sponsor, Global Speedway Tours. Do you want to attend the world's biggest sprint car races but don't know how? It's not that easy to organise, especially for your first time. A lot of people waste their time working out when and where to go, booking flights, accommodation, rental cars, tickets, trying not to miss anything. Well, you don't have to do any of that. Instead, let Global Speedway Tours take you on the trip of a lifetime. Whether you're an Aussie wanting to travel to the USA, or an American ready to see more of your own country, or finally make the trip down under, you have to do it with Global Speedway Tours. How do we know? Our very own cameraman, Matt Hollins, felt the same way you did before finally going on the ultimate trip with Pete and the crew from Global Speedway Tours. Since then, he hasn't looked back.
I went on my Global Speedway Tours trip in 2016. Everything was taken care of for me, so didn't have to worry about booking tickets or driving. Everything was all sorted for you, and the camaraderie was great. I definitely would go again. I know some of the people I went on before have actually been repeat customers, so it's definitely something you'd love to go enjoy again. I'd highly recommend Global Speedway Tours to everyone else. It's the best way to travel, best way to experience the best sport. Everything's taken care of. You don't have any worries. Once you get on the plane, everything's taken care of for you. I think if I went on my own, I wouldn't have probably experienced the great things that we did do, particularly meeting people to talk to and exclusive workshops and things and knowing where to go. Definitely going on the tour with him is the best way to go about it.
Stop worrying about the long flights. With different trip options available, you'll go to more races than you could dream of, do plenty of sightseeing, enjoy rare and exclusive experiences, and make lifelong friends. So what are you waiting for? Don't just watch it at home. Be there by booking your spot on an upcoming trip. Go to globalspeedwaytours.com.au today. You went out pretty late in qualifying. You happy with your laps that you laid down?
Yeah, I felt good about it when we went out. I think the Baylog went just a little bit quicker than we did, so I thought, yeah, that was good. I mean, to be top 10 is nice. It's just now you start 4th row inside, which is kind of a bummer, but my car feels really good, so we can drive up to the C race.
You've had limited laps compared to others with the new Hoosier rear tyres. Do you notice any difference, and do you have to set the car up any different?
I don't know anything about setups, but they feel definitely different. The right rear just feels like stiffer and harder and less grip. I feel like the left rear tire, I don't know if it grows or whatever when you get the wheel spin, but I feel like you have to watch your wheel spin a lot more with these combo tires. So it took some adjusting to, I think, in the beginning, but I feel like we've had a great season, so we've adjusted well.
Yeah, I love Kyle Larson interviews. He's always very descriptive on the car and the way he drove. So we're out here just behind the main grandstand at the Bingley Media Centre. Just inside there is where a lot of the media credentialed people sit in there. We've got access to that. They bring out food. It's quite lovely. So they're obviously open. I think they're open for about an hour after the races. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that you just don't see at many other racetracks. Massive hospitality building here, which is the Di Hudson Hall. That is huge inside there. We went on Tuesday night to see the Queens being crowned for the Knoxville Nationals. There we go. Hey man, what's your name?
Colin Kennedy.
Where you from?
Solon, Iowa.
You're a big sprint car fan?
Sprint car fan? Hell yeah.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Sheldon Hodenshield, Rico Abreu. One of the two.
Have a good night, man.
You too.
Cool. All right, let's move along. All right, we need to get into the heat races. Over the back here, you can see there's a massive party going on. There's the Iowa beer bus. We're not going through there. That's going to be way too loud. But yeah, this, like as I just said, it is like 10 past 12 now, and it is packed. Let's get into heat races. Zach Hampton won the first heat race. Macedo went 6th the third. Rico, who's quick time as we spoke about, could only go for 5th. You need to finish top 4 to transfer straight to the feature. Tanner Holmes time trialed in 6th, and he only finished 8th in the first heat. Kevin Thomas Jr. won the second heat. Brad Sweet, 8th to 4th. That's all he needed to do. They're all on the bottom. Heat number 3, Caleb Henry, that's his first time in that 101 car that Cody Mirosky drove or stepped away from, and he managed to win that heat race. Kofoid, he only finished 8th. Man, that was disappointing for him. Heat number 4, Kyle Larson, the first guy to go from row number 4 and get the win. He goes 7th to 1st. Logan Schuhart just behind him, going 8th to 2nd. Ed Jenderton won the final heat race, heat number 5. And another thing that we noted was Rusty Hickman, who was meant to start on the pole, I think it was, had a loose hood. That was a massive, massive disappointment. They were not happy about that. The Aussie, that's a massive, I think, a mistake. I don't think he had Zeus. I don't think he had Zeus's in the hood, so I think that's why that was loose and he couldn't run. So yeah, pretty disappointing. One thing I noticed, again, staying on top of the times, and I know the teams do, 16.2 was the quickest lap in the first heat race, and the last heat race was a 16.7, so half a second that the track lost. We actually caught up with Brad Sweet, the current World of Outlaw champion, who was having a solid night. We caught up with him for an interview.
You looked pretty good in your heat, but guys like Schuhart and Larson and that are driving him pretty deep. Do you feel like your car's as good to hold the bottom?
Oh yeah, I think we're good. I think what happens is the track just widens out. It gets harder and harder for the front row guys to keep the good guys behind them as the track gets more difficult. And I think our heat race was still a little bit narrow, but we were able to get to 4th at least. Those guys obviously got good starts, and the track was getting wider, and the bottom was getting trickier. So, this AMA is going to be really tricky. So I think you're going to see the guys with the good cars really moving forward here.
Yeah, and what's your aim for the AMA, and just try and pick them off?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know we're in a good spot, so we don't want to do anything stupid, but you always try to win the race, and you always want to put yourself in position, the best possible position for Saturday night. So we're in a good spot now, but still got a long way to go.
Yeah, as Brad Sweet said, there was a lot still to go for the night, and we'll get into that in a second. We're out the back right now where all the merch trailers are. Pretty cool to see some of these. It's so cool that this place has the ability to make room for all of the merch trailers and stuff. I'm not sure any other racetrack really does this sort of thing, but it's such a attention-grabbing piece for all the fans to come and see. If it was my racetrack, I'd definitely push for all this sort of stuff at all of my events. So definitely cool to see. Let's get into the mains. Shane Golobic from California, he won the C main. The B main, it was Rico, Buddy Kofoid, Shane Stewart and Darren Pittman getting the final transfer. Tanner Holmes just missed out in 5th place. I think he was only around about half a second away from 4th. And then we get into the A main. Now the A main, an invert of 8 as always for some reason. I wrote on social media that I thought Larson, Schuhart and Macedo would be the podium. I wasn't far off in the end, but it wasn't as simple of a race. It looked like it was going to head that way, but again, just like last night, we ran most of the race, and then last night there was a wreck by Peck with 8 to go. This time around, it was Pittman with 10 to go who wrecked. But just to start off the feature race, it was Brad Sweet who was backing up. He started 8th, I think it was, and he backed it up early, like lost a few spots. I think he went as far back as around 11th. Definitely the opposite of what he would have been trying to do early on. Another guy who made progress really early was Rico Abreu, coming from that the B main win. He knew he needed to make spots up pretty quick. And then, with about 10 to go, Pittman has a huge crash in turn number 3. And as I said, a similar setup to last night. We had a restart. Brad Sweet does the opposite of what he did on the original start, 11 to 8, so he passed a few cars. And most notably, Carson Macedo passes Macri for the lead. Macri led 14 laps of the race until Macedo passed him into turns 1 and 2. And then we had Ian Madsen, who came to a stop off turn number 4. We had another restart where Macedo did not need to defend. He had that much speed and he was having really slow restarts. Did a fantastic job. He really gave him confidence where he could set his own pace and launch really well, and didn't have to defend, which is exactly what you want to do with these races. And then with 4 laps to go, there was Brad Sweet had a huge wreck. He had a tire let go in turn number 1. Coming into turn number 1, it was the right rear just let go, and had a huge wreck all on his own, getting into the wall there. Pretty disappointing. Meanwhile, it was Larson, Schuhart, and Rico making a lot of progress. One guy we haven't spoken about was Spencer Bayston, who I think came from, I think it was position number 10, and he was up to second behind Macedo. We're coming out now onto they call it the highway, but it's really just the street out the front of Knoxville. This is probably the busiest it is all year. Let's go through our notes here. Veal coming on the last lap, so we had a restart after Sweet's wreck, and coming to the checkered flag out of through turns 3 and 4, the Reds come out from Jamie Veal, who had a huge wreck in turns 1 and 2. Yeah, pretty disappointing. Let's go past Dingus. We'll walk on this side of the road though. Dingus is the local bar that white building that you see over there, that is Dingus, and the temporary fencing that you see on the outside is packed. As you can see, it's the only bar in town, and yeah, it is so busy. But yeah, so we might turn around now and head back the other way. We'll walk past the outside here at Knoxville. I didn't think we'd get this far, to be honest. As you can see, there's Casey's on the right, another service station or gas station there. There's Hy-Vee down the right hand side. This place is just buzzing throughout the day. The restart was pretty clean with a couple laps to go. It was Macedo who got the win. Larson got by Bayston, which was kind of Larson just had that speed in the end, but Bayston was pretty happy, I think, to end up third. How you going, guys?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good. Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah. All right. There's a big American flag there. That is huge. I'm not sure if it's going to show up that well on camera, but yeah, that is huge here on the outside of turn number 1 here at Knoxville. All the other flags. It really is just such a cool venue. All these flags along here, along the fence line. You can see in front of us how close the racetrack fence is to what they call the highway. And the car actually has landed on the highway before. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. So after the feature race, we caught up with Spencer Bayston and Larson, got their initial reaction before anyone else got interviews over whether the cars come through scales and get teched. Let's hear from Spencer Bayston and Kyle Larson, and also Carson Macedo just after the press conference.
Happy, man? Happy?
I think I'm in, so yeah, I'm real happy.
You had a few restarts there. Do you felt like you really needed them to make that sort of progress?
Yeah, the restarts definitely helped there at the end. Yeah, so we'll take it. I think we're on the pole for Saturday, so it's good. And I feel like our car was decent, just made a lot of mistakes early.
This race is going to be won by being smart on Saturday night. I really want to get into detail about the restarts there. Macri went to the top on that restart and you got by him straight away, and you decided to do the same thing he did and it worked out for you. What was going through your mind?
You know, I think that it was a little bit different there. Like, he fired off kind of in the middle. I think there was that little bit of a grip strip there, and I think he thought maybe he was going to get a better angle at the cone. It just didn't work out that way. Like, I was able to squeeze off that grip right next to the berm on the bottom and then kind of get to his left rear getting down across the cone. And then when we entered the corner, I thought for sure he was going to turn left on me and kind of grab that grip down on the bottom 1 and 2 to shoot across, and he just didn't. He kind of stayed right out in the middle, and it opened up that gap for me just enough to where I grabbed that grip on the bottom and was able to beat him there to the exit of turn 2, kind of grab the cushion and get down the backstretch. And at that point I knew it was going to be tough to get back by me unless I made a mistake or got beat on a restart or something like that. But I just tried to execute what won me that restart, which was just staying down in the grip as long as I could till I got to the cone and then shoot across and grab the grip into 1. And man, through 1 and 2, like I don't know why this is. I have to talk to Philip, but my car was like night and day better. It threw 1 and 2 on every restart than every other lap. Like, I could just plug my right rear in and just never move my hands and hold it wide open and it just roll right around there. So I knew if somebody was going to beat me in 1 and 2, they had to really do a good job off of 4 and get a huge run on me. And I just didn't see it happening because I didn't have much wheel spin off of 4. But I think you're right. I think 50 laps is a long race. You got to be smart to win this one, and restarts are key. They're important, especially on half miles like this. You see it in the heat race. The guy gets a good start and bang, he's in contention, and that's what it's all about.
Your restarts are pretty slow as well. Is that you? Are you turning back the fuel tap a bit to lean it out, or is your engine just taking off that well?
My engine takes off incredible. This Kistler engine that Paul built is it's top notch. We put it in the other night, and I was purposely chugging the field down. I wasn't trying to play games, honestly. When I took off, I took the first restart, it looked like I probably was, but I kind of took off and it caught me by surprise. My left rear grabbed grip and kind of shoved me back out in the slick, and I just was like lifting, trying to get back down to it, because I knew I was going to get in trouble if I got hung out in the slick there. But you know, once I got back down there, you know, Mike Hess got on the radio the next restart and was like, no playing games, and was, you know, it seemed like he was a little upset. So I tried to just keep it clean that next start. But my engine takes off awesome, and like I said, I knew if I won the race 3-1 and 2, it was going to be tough to get by me. Yeah,
it was cool to hear from those guys, and I really wanted to understand Carson Macedo on his restarts there, what was kind of going through his process. But let's wrap up the Aussies. It was Veal, time 27th, third in the heat, from third in heat number 2, and wrecked, as we said, with a lap to go in the feature. Hickman, now that was the disappointing story. I mean, he timed 40th, which wasn't great. And then in the heat race, obviously had a loose hood and didn't start the race even. So he was meant to be off the front as well. So that was kind of their night all packed up. Ian Madsen, he timed 5th. He got 4th in heat number 5. They were pretty happy with that. As he got out of the car, you could see he was pretty stoked, and he ended up finishing 15th in the A, which is not too bad. Lockie McHugh times 31st, 4th in heat number 1, and ended up just behind Ian Madsen in 16th in the feature. And the only other Aussie, Trent Pigden timed 51st out of the 53 cars and ended up 10th in the C. So probably for tonight, for me, the standouts and disappointments was I think Caleb Henry did a pretty solid job in that 101 car. Austin McCall made a lot of progress and really was competitive in the feature race, and obviously Bayston as well. I thought he did a fantastic job. You know, he's been a little bit hot and cold with what he's been doing, but yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job there in the feature. The disappointment was probably Kofoid, to be honest. He did not look good, comfortable in the heat race at all. There's a good shot on the left-hand side here of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if it shows how big it is on camera, but just if you haven't been here to Knoxville, you really need to check it out. And you know what's cool is we've had so many people come up to us from our videos and mention how they want to go on the trip with Global Speedway Tours. If you're thinking about coming here, or if you're watching this and thinking about going to Australia to watch racing, doesn't matter, it doesn't just have to be sprint car racing, they see all kinds of racing. You need to go to globalspeedwaytours.com.au and check out their packages, because that's the right way to go about it. But other than that, I think that's us for tonight. Pretty fun night. Just behind me here, you can actually see some of the merch trailers. Throughout the day, you can see there's Donnie Schatz there, Brad Sweet. Looks like the Jack Hordenchild merch trailer. That's not Sheldon's, that's a separate one. And a bunch of others there. Brent Marks I can see as well. I know the Swindell Speed Lab one's here somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty much us for tonight. I think there's an ice cream place just past those trailers, so we're going to head back there. If you haven't already, head to sprintcarhub.com to grab our merchandise. You can get it there, or if you're here at the racetrack, you can grab what we've got. We are selling out pretty quickly, and it's only getting busier. I think Friday and Saturday is sold out, so yeah, pretty fun. What is it? It's 12:24 right now. We're going to head back and start editing this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it.